Every morning, your dog does something so ordinary you barely notice it anymore. They walk to their water bowl. They drink slowly, deliberately. And then they pause. They turn their head. They look back at you with eyes that seem different somehow. Heavier, like they're carrying a question you can't hear. You might think it's nothing, just your dog being your dog. But what if that look is the first word in a goodbye you're not ready to hear? Most dog parents imagine they'll know when the end is near. They picture obvious signs, dramatic changes, a clear moment when everything shifts and the truth becomes undeniable. But dogs are ancient creatures of instinct, and dying, to them, is something they try to hide. They mask pain with loyalty. They soften their suffering so we won't worry. And because of this, the signs arrive quietly, in the margins of ordinary days, where we're not trained to look. Your dog won't sit you down and tell you they're dying. They'll just start acting a little differently. A little slower, a little more distant. And you'll explain it away as age or weather or a bad week, because accepting the alternative feels impossible. But here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. By the time the signs become obvious, you've already missed dozens of smaller ones, the whispers that came before the silence. The first sign lives in the way your dog follows you now, not playfully, not out of boredom or because they want something, but with a quiet, almost urgent intensity. You stand up to get water, and they rise too. You move to another room, and within seconds, they're there. Not at your feet, not asking for attention, just positioned where they can always see you, always keep you in their line of sight. You might think they're being clingy, or needy, or maybe just bored. But what's really happening runs deeper than affection. Behaviorists call this proximity seeking. It's an instinct that activates when a dog senses their body is failing. In the wild, a vulnerable animal stays close to the pack for protection, for comfort, for the assurance that they won't face the end alone. Your dog isn't being dramatic. They're not overreacting. They're asking you, in the only way they know how, to witness them, to stay near while their body whispers things they can't explain and you can't yet see. The second sign shows up in a place you'd never think to look. Their sleep. Specifically, where they choose to sleep. For years, maybe their whole life, your dog had a spot on your bed. In the corner of the living room, that specific patch of carpet near the window. It was their place. Sacred, consistent. And then one night, without announcement, they choose somewhere new. Maybe it's the bathroom floor, cold tile against their body. Maybe it's a spot near the door, closer to an exit than they've ever slept before. Maybe it's somewhere more isolated, away from the noise and warmth of the house. You tell yourself they're just hot, or restless, or trying something different. But research from Utrecht University in the Netherlands shows that dying dogs instinctively seek temperature regulation and solitude as their internal systems begin shutting down. Their body is overheating or failing to regulate itself, and somewhere deep in their brain, an ancient instruction activates. One that says, find cool ground, find quiet space, find a place to rest that feels like safety. They're not rejecting you. They're not choosing distance because they love you less. They're listening to something older than the bond you share. A voice coded into their DNA that's preparing them for what comes next, and you can't follow them there. Not yet. The third sign hides inside something as simple as dinner. Your dog has always loved food. Every meal was an event. Every treat was a celebration. But now, something's different. They approach their bowl and hesitate. They sniff. They take a few bites and walk away. You add something special, chicken, cheese, their favorite things, and still, they eat less. Leave more behind. It's not dramatic, not a full refusal. Just a slow, steady disinterest that builds over days and weeks until you realize you can't remember the last time they finished a meal. You worry it's the food, or their teeth, or maybe they're just being picky. But here's what's actually happening. As organ function declines, dogs lose their sense of taste and smell. Those are the two things that make eating pleasurable. Without them, food becomes textureless, meaningless, a chore their body no longer wants to perform. And here's the part that breaks quietly if you let it. To your dog, food was never just fuel. It was joy. It was ritual. It was the moment every day when you provided for them and they trusted you to keep them alive. And when that fades, when even their favorite treat holds no appeal, they're not being difficult. They're not trying to worry you. They're quietly letting go of the world, one small pleasure at a time. Like someone packing for a trip they didn't choose to take. The fourth sign lives in their eyes. You know your dog's eyes better than almost anything. You've seen them bright with excitement, soft with contentment, focused with intent. But now, when they look at you, something feels off. Their gaze seems distant, unfocused, like they're looking through you rather than at you. Sometimes they stare at walls, or empty corners, or nothing at all, for minutes at a time. And when you call their name, they respond slowly, like they're coming back from somewhere far away. This can indicate cognitive decline, pain that fractures concentration, or neurological changes common in end-stage illness. As a dog's body begins to fail, their brain prioritizes essential functions. Everything else starts to blur. They experience altered states of consciousness, moments where they're present and moments where they're not. And the cruelest part is that you can't ask them where they go during those long stares. You can't pull them back. Your dog isn't leaving you yet, but they're already standing at a threshold you can't see. Half here, half somewhere else. And every time their eyes go distant, they're practicing the distance that's coming. The fifth sign is the one that feels most personal, most like rejection. Your dog has always loved affection. They leaned into every pet, melted under every scratch behind the ears, pressed their body against yours on the couch like they wanted to merge into you. But now, they pull back, just slightly, just enough for you to notice. They tolerate your touch, but they don't seek it. They lie near you, but not against you. Not curled up, not making contact. And it hurts. Because touch has always been your language. The way you told them you loved them when words didn't translate. But here's what you need to understand. It's not that they don't want you anymore. It's that their body has become a place of discomfort. Pain makes every sensation sharper. Nausea makes stillness impossible. Systemic breakdown makes even the gentlest touch feel overwhelming. Clinical studies show that dying dogs often withdraw from physical affection not out of emotional distance, but because their nervous system is hypersensitive. Your hand on their head, which used to feel like love, now feels like pressure. Like one more thing their body has to process when it's already drowning in signals it can't manage. They still love you. Desperately, completely. But their body has become a place they're trying to escape, and even your gentle hand reminds them they're still trapped inside it. These first 5 signs are the whispers. The ones you can explain away, the ones that feel like coincidence or bad days or normal aging. But they're not. They're your dog's body starting to tell a story it can no longer hide. And the next 5 signs are the ones that make that story undeniable. The ones that ask something harder of you. They ask you to stop hoping things will go back to normal and start preparing to love your dog through the hardest goodbye you'll ever say. Which of these have you noticed in your dog? Because if you're seeing even 1 or 2, it doesn't mean panic. It means pay attention. It means your dog is trying to communicate something important, and the kindest thing you can do is learn their final language before it's too late. There comes a moment in every dog's final chapter where the signs stop being subtle and start being undeniable. Not louder necessarily, but impossible to unsee once you know what you're looking at. These aren't the whispers anymore. These are the truths your dog's body can no longer hide. And the kindest thing you can do, the bravest thing, is to stop pretending otherwise. To stop bargaining with reality, and start honoring what your dog is trying to tell you. That they're not just tired. They're not just having a bad week. They're preparing to leave. And they need you to be strong enough to see it. The 6th sign lives in something you've taken for granted since the day they came home. Their breathing. For years, it's been background noise. Steady, reliable. The soft rise and fall of their chest while they sleep. But now, something's changed. Their breathing has become irregular. Shallow, then deep. Rapid for a few moments, then slow. Sometimes they pause between breaths long enough to make your own chest tighten. Long enough to make you lean closer, waiting, until finally they inhale again. Veterinary science tells us that labored or irregular breathing signals organ failure, fluid buildup in the lungs. the heart struggling to pump efficiently, the body's desperate attempt to maintain oxygen levels even as systems begin to shut down. It's one of the most reliable late-stage indicators that a dog is actively dying. But here's what the clinical language doesn't capture. Every breath your dog takes near the end is an act of effort, of will. They're working so hard just to stay a little longer, just to have one more morning with you, one more evening on the couch. And they're doing it because they love you. Because leaving you is the hardest thing their body has ever asked them to do. The seventh sign is the one that brings shame into the room. Accidents in the house. Not once. Not a random incident you can dismiss, but repeatedly. Your fully trained dog, the one who hasn't had an accident in years, suddenly can't hold it anymore. You come home to puddles, to messes. And the worst part isn't the cleanup, it's the look in their eyes, the confusion, the apology. They know what's happening. They understand, on some level, that their body is betraying them. And they're ashamed. This isn't behavioral. It's not stubbornness or regression or a cry for attention. It's biological collapse. As the nervous system weakens, muscle control deteriorates. The sphincters that hold everything in simply stop working. Your dog isn't choosing this. They're losing the ability to prevent it. And every time it happens, they feel the weight of it. The humiliation of failing at something they mastered as a puppy. Your dog spent their entire life trying to be good for you, trying to follow the rules, trying to earn your pride and approval. And now, in their final days, their body is betraying the very dignity they fought so hard to maintain. They need you to tell them, without words, that it's okay, that you're not angry, that accidents don't erase a lifetime of love, that they're still the best thing that ever happened to you, even now. Especially now. The eighth sign requires you to do something uncomfortable. You need to look inside your dog's mouth. Gently lift their lip. Look at their gums. In a healthy dog, gums are pink. Bright, almost vibrant pink. But if your dog is dying, you might see something different. Pale gums, white, gray, sometimes even blue. And that color is telling you something critical. Their circulation is failing. Blood isn't reaching the places it needs to go. Oxygen isn't getting distributed. Their body is running out of time. Gum color is a direct window into cardiovascular function. Veterinarians use it as one of the fastest diagnostic tools because it doesn't lie. Pale or discolored gums mean poor oxygenation. It means the heart isn't strong enough anymore. It means the machine is running out of power. And the gums are the dashboard light you didn't know to check until it was almost too late. This isn't something that gets better with rest or food or hope. This is the body waving a white flag. The ninth sign you'll feel before you see. You place your hand on your dog's chest, maybe just to comfort them, maybe to check if they're still breathing. And their heartbeat feels wrong. Too fast, like it's racing even though they're lying still, or erratic, skipping beats, stuttering in rhythm, or so faint you have to press harder just to find it. Sometimes it pounds. Sometimes it barely whispers. But it never feels steady anymore. Arrhythmias and weakened cardiac output are common in dying dogs. The heart, exhausted from years of work, begins to fail in both rhythm and strength. It's trying to compensate for failing organs, trying to keep blood moving through a system that's breaking down. And it can't. Not anymore. For years, that heartbeat was steady. It powered every tail wag, every sprint across the yard, every moment they chose to love you with their whole body. And now it's struggling to finish the song it's been playing since the day they were born. When you feel that irregular beat under your palm, you're feeling the countdown, and it's moving faster than you want to believe. The 10th sign is the hardest to explain, but every dog parent who's lived through it knows exactly what it means. There's a moment, sometimes just hours or days before the end, when your dog looks at you, really looks at you, and something in that gaze feels different. Final. Like they're memorizing your face. Like they're taking a photograph with their eyes that they'll carry with them wherever they're going. It's not a sad look. It's not desperate or pleading. It's clear, focused, full of something you can only describe as knowing. Veterinarians and animal behaviorists report that many dogs exhibit what's called terminal lucidity, a brief return of presence, of clarity, of the Don they used to be before the illness took over. It's not scientifically proven, it can't be measured or predicted, but it's widely observed, documented in journals, and confirmed in waiting rooms and whispered about by people who've sat beside their dying dogs and felt it happen. That moment when your dog comes back to you, fully, one last time. Not to ask for help, not to beg you to fix them, but to say goodbye. Your dog has loved you in 1,000 ways, across 1,000 days. Every time you came home and they lost their mind with joy. Every time they rested their head on your lap during a sad movie. Every walk, every car ride, every quiet Sunday morning. Every time they chose your side of the bed. It's all been a conversation. A language spoken in presence and touch and loyalty. And in that final look, they're trying to fit all of it into a single moment. Every walk, every scratch behind the ears. Every time you came home and they knew the world was right again. It's all there, compressed into one gaze that says, I see you, I've always seen you, and I'm so grateful it was you. And then, quietly, without drama, they give you permission to let them go. Because they know you're the one who's going to hurt the most. They know you're the one who has to keep living after they're gone. And in that look, they're telling you it's okay, that they're ready, that holding on for your sake is harder than leaving, and that the best gift you can give them now is peace. These 10 signs aren't punishments. They're not failures on your part or theirs. They're your dog's body telling a story it can no longer hide. And the gift in recognizing them isn't more time. You can't bargain with biology. You can't will their organs back to health. But what you can do is change the quality of the time that's left. You can stop rushing. Stop distracting yourself. Stop pretending that tomorrow will be better. You can sit beside them without your phone. You can whisper the things you never said out loud. You can let them feel, in their final hours, that they were the best thing that ever happened to you. Because they were. And they need to know that before they close their eyes for the last time. Have you seen any of these signs in your dog? You're not alone in this. And knowing what to look for doesn't make you a pessimist. It doesn't mean you've given up. It makes you the kind of love your dog deserves at the end. The kind that's brave enough to see the truth and tender enough to hold them through it. If this helped you see your dog more clearly, stay close. Because every video here is for people who love their dogs enough to face the hardest truths. Your dog gave you their whole life. The least we can do is understand their final language, and when the time comes, to let them go with the same grace they've given you every single day.